When God places His hand on your life, you may not see fireworks, you may not hear trumpets in the sky, but there's a shift, a quiet shift, a divine alignment that starts happening in your spirit. It's not always loud, but it's always real. The world may not notice it right away, but your soul does. Your walk changes, your focus sharpens, your heart begins to crave something deeper. You're not satisfied with surface level anymore. You're not entertained by distractions. You stop chasing what doesn't fulfill and start attracting what reflects your purpose. That's what it feels like when His hand is on your life. You begin to carry yourself with a weight that's not pride, but purpose. You walk into rooms and things shift, not because you said something, but because you carry something. You're not just another woman anymore. You're a woman marked by grace, marked by calling, marked by the presence of a God who doesn't play when it comes to His daughters. When His hand is on you, you can't blend in anymore. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to stand out, not for attention, but for assignment. There are signs, divine signs, not the kind the world celebrates, not the kind that make headlines, but the kind that show up in your spirit, the kind that whisper to your soul in the stillness of night and scream purpose into your bones in the face of adversity. You can feel it in your struggle. You can feel it in your silence. You can feel it in your strength, the strength you didn't know you had until life tried to break you and you bent, but you didn't break. That's a sign. That's God's hand. When you start losing what you used to lean on, don't panic. Sometimes His hand removes what's not meant to hold you anymore. Sometimes He breaks your routine so He can rebuild your purpose. Sometimes He strips things away not to punish you, but to position you. See, when His hand is on you, comfort becomes a threat to your calling. You can't stay in places that limit you. You can't tolerate conversations that drain you. You can't settle for love that wounds you. His hand won't let you. You'll notice people start falling off, not because you pushed them, but because your elevation exposes their limitation. And you're not being mean, you're being obedient. You're not being arrogant, you're being aligned. Don't apologize for the shift. Don't grieve what God is trying to deliver you from. If they couldn't walk with you, it's because they weren't assigned to where you're going. Some people were only meant to be chapters, not the whole book. Let them go with love, but keep going. Another sign is the warfare, the battles you didn't ask for, the opposition you can't explain, because when you're chosen, the enemy gets nervous. You become a threat to hell's plans. You become a reminder that light still wins, so don't misinterpret the attack. Don't question your value because of the storm. That storm is confirmation, that pain is proof. You're not under attack because you're weak. You're under attack because you're powerful. Because you carry oil, and oil only flows after pressure. Sometimes it's the dreams that won't leave you alone. Those whispers in your heart that keep coming back no matter how many times you try to ignore them. That pull towards something greater, that ache to build, to serve, to pour, to rise, that's not random, that's not fantasy, that's vision, that's God's hand. Because when His hand is on your life, you stop just existing and start becoming. And becoming is uncomfortable. Becoming requires pruning. But oh, what a beautiful thing it is when a woman finally decides to answer the call. You also notice that your prayers start to change. You stop praying for things that impress and start praying for things that transform. You stop asking for attention and start asking for anointing. You stop begging God to open doors and start asking Him to make you ready for the ones He's already written in your destiny. You mature in your faith. You start valuing His will over your wants. And when that happens, when your desires start to align with His design, the blessings start to flow differently. They don't always look like what you expected, but they feel like peace. They feel like purpose. They feel like home. Another sign is that you become a mirror. People start to see themselves when they're around you. Your presence convicts. Your life becomes a standard, not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. You're real, you're rooted, you're not out here performing, you're out here living, authentically, unapologetically, and intentionally. And that kind of energy can't be faked. That kind of woman can't be copied. That kind of light can't be hidden. You also start experiencing supernatural favor. Doors open that shouldn't. Opportunities come that don't make sense. People are drawn to you without knowing why. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's the evidence of God's hand. He'll make ways in the wilderness. He'll send provision in dry places. He'll elevate you in rooms you didn't even know existed, not for your glory, but for His. So don't be afraid to walk through the doors He opens, even if you don't feel ready, even if you feel unqualified. If He called you, He's already equipped you. There's also a peace that shows up especially in chaos. A calm in the middle of the storm, a stillness that doesn't make sense to the world. You could be going through hell and still have joy, still have grace, still have hope. That's not denial. That's discernment. You've learned that God doesn't leave you when things get hard. You've seen Him carry you. You've felt Him comfort you. So you no longer panic. You praise. You no longer complain. You trust. That's what His hand does. It stabilizes your soul even when life is unstable. And there's one more thing that starts to happen. Your presence begins to break chains. You walk into rooms and the atmosphere shifts. You speak and healing begins. You touch and love flows. You lead and people follow, not because you told them to, but because they see God in you. They see resilience. They see integrity. They see purpose clothed in grace. And that's not because of your education, your background, your beauty, or your bank account. That's because of His hand. When God's hand is on your life, you don't need to strive. You don't need to manipulate. You don't need to prove. You simply need to be obedient, be faithful, be available, be open, and He'll do the rest. He'll elevate you when it's time. He'll reveal the right people. He'll close the wrong doors. He'll protect you from what you don't see and bless you in ways you can't imagine. You won't have to chase. What's yours will find you. And don't let the world trick you into thinking this is just about blessings you can hold. Some of the greatest blessings are internal: peace, wisdom, discernment, strength, healing, the ability to walk away from what used to break you, the power to speak life when you used to speak fear, the grace to love yourself when you once lived in shame. That's His hand, and when it's on you, everything changes. You stop tolerating cycles. You stop entertaining confusion. You stop attaching your worth to attention. You rise above the noise. You move with wisdom. You operate with authority, not from ego, but from identity, because you know who you are. You know whose you are, and nothing, no one, and no situation can shake a woman who is anchored in that kind of truth. So the next time you find yourself wondering, is God really with me? Look at the evidence. Look at the doors that closed that you didn't understand. Look at the strength you found in seasons that almost destroyed you. Look at the way your heart still believes even after it's been broken. Look at the passion that refuses to die. Look at the vision that keeps burning. That's not random. That's not ordinary. That's not you just being strong. That's God's hand. It's been on you this whole time, in the pain, in the waiting, in the transition, in the silence, in the blessing, in the rebuilding, in the rising, and it's still on you right now, right here in this moment. So don't doubt it. Don't question it. Walk like you know it. Live like you believe it. Speak like you carry it, because you do. You see, when God's hand is truly on your life, you begin to experience separation. Separation from old patterns, old environments, old people, and even old versions of yourself. It's not punishment, it's positioning. He's not pulling you away to isolate you. He's setting you apart to anoint you. The noise you used to tolerate, it becomes intolerable. The things you once chased, you now see as distractions. You don't respond the way you used to.
You don't react the way they expect. That's not weakness.
That's wisdom. That's what it looks like when a woman grows in her discernment and walks in her assignment. You stop arguing with people who don't understand your vision because you realize they weren't meant to carry it. You stop explaining your peace to those still addicted to chaos. You stop shrinking your light to make others comfortable in their darkness. When His hand is on you, you're no longer in the business of pleasing people. You're in the business of honoring purpose. And that makes you unshakable, that makes you immovable, because your validation doesn't come from man, it comes from the Master. Now, don't think that just because you're called, everything's going to be easy. That's the myth. The reality is, calling comes with conflict. Purpose invites pressure. Anointing attracts adversity. But here's what makes the difference. Even in the battle, you've got backup. Even in the storm, you've got shelter. Even when they walk away, you're not alone, because His hand never leaves you. And sometimes the only reason you didn't break was because that hand was holding you together. Sometimes the favor on your life will provoke envy in others. People will misunderstand you. Some will question how you keep rising. Some will try to sabotage what they can't duplicate. But don't let that distract you. Your assignment isn't to be liked, it's to be light. You're not here to entertain darkness, you're here to expose it. And not by preaching at people, but by living with integrity, by walking in humility, by standing in truth. The kind of woman who is blessed by God doesn't need to announce it. Her life speaks louder than words. You'll also notice that you start attracting other women who are on the same frequency. You'll find yourself surrounded by queens, not cliques, women who don't compete, they collaborate, women who pray with you, not prey on you, women who call out the greatness in you, not the gossip about you. Because when you're walking in divine alignment, your circle starts to reflect your growth, and you no longer feel guilty for outgrowing relationships that were rooted in your brokenness. You bless them, you release them, and you move forward. There's a fire that comes with being chosen, a deep inner knowing that no matter what comes your way, you're going to be all right. You start making decisions based on faith, not fear. You take risks that look crazy to others, but make perfect sense in your spirit. You move differently, not recklessly, but courageously. You understand that obedience is better than control, that surrender is stronger than striving. You stop trying to force doors open, and instead learn to recognize the ones God has already prepared. And then there's the wisdom. A woman covered by God doesn't just have knowledge, she has wisdom. She listens more than she speaks. She prays before she reacts. She watches, discerns, and moves with intention. She's not led by emotion, she's guided by the Spirit, and that kind of woman is rare, powerful, and deeply rooted. Her presence is peace. Her voice is healing. Her life is a reflection of grace in motion. Even your past begins to look different when His hand is on your life. You stop seeing it as a source of shame and start seeing it as the soil from which your strength grew. The pain, the betrayal, the loss, it all becomes part of the testimony. You're no longer bitter, you're better, not perfect, but progressing. And when you tell your story, you don't tell it to seek sympathy. You tell it to show victory, because every scar is now a signpost of survival. Every tear watered the ground of your destiny. Every trial was training for your triumph. And as you walk deeper into your calling, your confidence becomes unshakable, not because you've figured everything out, but because you trust the one who has. You're not worried about who's watching or who's applauding. You're not performing for the crowd, you're walking for the King, and that changes everything. You're no longer living for attention, but for impact. You're no longer living from insecurity, but from identity. You know who you are, and that knowing gives you peace in rooms where you once felt small. There will be moments when God hides you, seasons where it feels like you've been forgotten. Don't resent those seasons. They're sacred.
In the hidden place, he's molding you, protecting you, developing you, because public power requires private preparation. You're not being delayed, you're being developed, and when it's time to step forward, you'll be ready, not just with talent, but with character.
Not just with gifts, but with grit. Not just with vision, but with virtue, because that's what it takes to carry the kind of calling you've been entrusted with, and when the time comes, you won't have to push your way through. The door will open, the room will receive you, the platform will find you. You won't have to compete, you'll just have to show up, fully present, fully authentic, fully surrendered, and when you do, people will feel it. Because the anointing speaks even when you're silent. It's not about volume, it's about presence, and your presence will carry weight, not because of you, but because of the God in you. See, the favor on your life is not just for you.
It's for everyone connected to you. Your obedience is unlocking freedom for your family. Your healing is breaking generational chains. Your boldness is creating new blueprints. Your faith is shifting atmospheres.
This is bigger than feelings. This is legacy. This is kingdom. This is destiny. And as you rise, as you become, don't forget the foundation. Don't forget the quiet prayers that held you together when no one else saw you.
Don't forget the nights you cried out and felt him hold your heart. Don't forget the grace that met you in your lowest moments and reminded you who you are, because that grace is still working, still covering, still guiding. When his hand is on your life, you don't chase success. You attract purpose. You don't look for platforms. You live from presence, and in doing so, you become a light in dark places, a healing voice in a noisy world, a vessel of divine love in a culture obsessed with image. You don't have to change who you are to be accepted. You just have to become who you were created to be. So let them wonder how you made it. Let them question how you keep getting back up. Let them speculate about your strength. You don't owe them an explanation. Your life is the evidence. Your resilience is the answer. Your peace is the proof. You are a woman covered by God, chosen by grace, equipped by mercy, and destined for greatness. That's the truth, and that truth cannot be shaken. Not by failure, not by rejection, not by time. Even your silence becomes powerful when his hand is on your life. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to defend every move. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Let your fruit speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your peace speak. Because when God is your defender, you don't have to fight like the world fights. You fight by resting in him, by trusting the process, by knowing that every step, even the ones you don't understand, are leading somewhere holy. And as you keep walking, you'll notice the transformation isn't just external, it's internal. The things that once triggered you no longer move you. The people who once distracted you no longer have access. The places you once settled in now feel too small. That's growth, that's grace. That's the mark of a woman becoming everything God said she would be. And you don't have to rush the process. You don't have to force the outcome. You just have to stay faithful, stay surrendered, stay aligned. Because when his hand is on you, what's meant for you will always find you. Not a moment too late, not a second too soon, but right on time. And when it comes, you'll recognize it. Not because it'll look like everything you expected, but because it'll feel like peace, like alignment, like purpose, and your spirit will know that this is what I was built for. This is what the pain prepared me for. This is why I couldn't quit. This is why I had to go through what I went through, because now I see it. Now I feel it. Now I'm walking in it. The beauty of God's hand on your life is that it doesn't come with an expiration date. It doesn't come with a limit or a ceiling. What God starts, he finishes, and what he's begun in you, he will complete, no matter how long it takes. There are seasons of waiting, seasons of preparation, but every season serves a purpose. And you must embrace each phase, no matter how uncomfortable, because every stage is preparing you for the next. The waiting isn't wasteful,
It's necessary. The struggles are not for nothing, they're strengthening you. The delays aren't denial, they're divine. And understand, His hand on your life doesn't mean it will always be easy. You will face moments of uncertainty. You will face confusion. You will face disappointment. You will face moments where you wonder if you're on the right path, if this is the life He has for you. You may face times when you feel completely alone, when the weight of the world feels heavier than you can bear. But the truth is, those moments are often when He's closest. Those moments are when He's shaping you, refining you, preparing you for a greater level of glory. When you're in the fire, that's when you're being purified. When you're in the storm, that's when He's anchoring you to something deeper, something more unshakable. But here's what you've got to remember. What's being forged in the furnace will never be the same. And neither will you. The process is long, the climb is steep, but the view from the top is worth every ounce of struggle. You've got to understand that the heights you're meant to reach require your strength to be tested. The greatness you're meant to carry requires your character to be refined. The destiny you're called to requires every part of you to grow into something greater. That's what happens when God's hand is on your life. It transforms you. And as you transform, you begin to see things differently. You begin to see your struggles as stepping stones. The pain you once feared, the rejection you once took personally, the loss you once grieved. Suddenly, you see them as tools, as lessons that have been shaping your soul. They didn't break you, they built you. They didn't destroy you, they defined you. They didn't limit you, they liberated you. You start to see life through a new lens, the lens of purpose, the lens of power, the lens of possibility. And it's in this transformation that you begin to realize that the hand of God on your life doesn't just equip you for your journey. It positions you to impact others. Your story becomes more than just about you. Your testimony becomes a lifeline to others. You realize that the obstacles you've overcome weren't just for your growth. They were for someone else's breakthrough. Every part of your journey, from the lowest moments to the highest victories, is preparing you to lift others. You are being molded not just for personal success, but for kingdom impact. The blessing on your life is meant to overflow, to pour out on others. You'll begin to find that your reach extends beyond your own personal circle, your own family, your own community. God will place you in rooms with people you once only dreamed of meeting. He'll open doors to opportunities you didn't think were possible. And when that happens, you won't look at it as your chance to shine. You'll see it as your chance to give Him glory. You'll know that you didn't get here by your own power. You didn't get here by your own wisdom, by your own intellect, by your own hustle. You got here by grace. You got here by favor. And when you understand that, you become a vessel for God's glory. You become a conduit for His love. You become a living testimony of His goodness. This is why you can't be afraid of the journey. This is why you can't fear the unknown. You can't fear what's ahead of you, because the hand of God is guiding you. Yes, the path may be unfamiliar, but it's also designed for you. Yes, you may not know exactly where you're going, but you know the one who holds the map. When you're walking in His will, you are walking in divine purpose. And you don't have to be afraid of your future when you know God has already gone before you. As you go forward, don't forget the people that God has placed around you. You can't do this alone. You can't fulfill your purpose in isolation. There are people who are meant to walk with you, to support you, to encourage you, to pray with you. These people are not just your cheerleaders. They're part of your team. They're your partners in destiny. They're your accountability. They're your sisters in Christ. They're your brothers in faith. And the beauty of God's hand on your life is that it connects you with the right people at the right time. Those relationships will strengthen you when you feel weak. They will help you when you feel lost. They will pray for you when you feel like you can't pray for yourself. And let's talk about the importance of prayer. When God's hand is on your life, prayer becomes your weapon. It becomes your weapon of warfare. It becomes your shield.
It becomes your source of strength. In those moments of struggle, when the enemy comes against you, it's prayer that fortifies you. It's prayer that reminds you of who you are. It's prayer that opens the heavens and releases favor. It's prayer that puts you in alignment with God's will for your life. And you've got to understand the power of your prayers. You've got to understand that when you pray, things happen. When you pray, things shift. When you pray, you are activating the power of the Almighty God in your life. But prayer isn't just about asking for things. Prayer isn't just about making requests. Prayer is also about listening. It's about being still and allowing God to speak. It's about tuning your heart to His voice. Because when you have a relationship with God, you can't just talk at Him. You've got to listen. You've got to receive. You've got to be open to the direction He gives. And when you do, He will lead you. He will guide you. He will show you the way. And sometimes He won't give you all the details. Sometimes He'll just give you one step. But that's all you need. That's all you need to keep moving forward. You'll also find that the way you see yourself starts to change. When God's hand is on your life, your self-worth is no longer defined by the opinions of others. It's no longer defined by your past mistakes, your failures, or your shortcomings. You begin to see yourself as God sees you, valuable, worthy, loved, chosen. You are His masterpiece. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And when you believe that truth, everything changes. You stop looking for validation from the world. You stop searching for approval from people. You stop questioning your worth because you know it's rooted in who God says you are. And as you grow, you'll notice that your priorities start to shift. Things that once consumed you no longer matter. People who once demanded your attention no longer get it. Your time becomes precious. Your peace becomes sacred. You learn to say no to things that don't align with your purpose. You learn to protect your energy, to guard your heart, and to prioritize what truly matters. You understand that you can't afford to give your time and your attention to everything and everyone. You've got to be strategic. You've got to be intentional. You've got to guard your space like it's sacred, because it is. When God's hand is on your life, you realize that the things of this world are temporary. The accolades, the achievements, the possessions, they're all temporary. They don't define you. They don't validate you. What truly matters is the impact you're making. It's the lives you're touching. It's the legacy you're building. And when you understand that, you begin to live differently. You begin to live with eternity in mind. You begin to live in such a way that your life becomes a reflection of the glory of God. And when you get to that place, you'll realize that nothing in this world, can compare to the peace, the joy, and the fulfillment that comes from knowing God's hand is on your life. No success, no achievement, no title, no possession can compare to the satisfaction that comes from walking in His will. That's when you know you've truly arrived. That's when you know you've found your purpose. That's when you know you're living the life you were created to live. So, as you continue on this journey, don't be afraid to walk boldly. Don't be afraid to walk confidently. Don't be afraid to walk with your head held high. Because you are not walking alone, you are walking with the hand of God, and when you walk with Him, nothing can stand in your way. When you walk with God, you begin to understand that every moment has its purpose. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the mundane becomes sacred. You'll see the beauty in the little things, a quiet morning, a kind word from a stranger, the smile of a child, the warmth of the sun. The world around you will no longer feel like a series of coincidences. It will feel like a divine design, a carefully orchestrated masterpiece in motion. You'll recognize that every breath you take, every heartbeat you experience, is an act of grace. And in that realization, your life begins to take on a deeper meaning. The pain you've endured, that wasn't for nothing. The rejection, the heartache, the disappointment, none of it was random. All of it has shaped you. All of it has strengthened you. God uses your struggles to prepare you for your destiny. And when you step into your purpose, you'll look back and see how each trial built your resilience. You'll see how each setback positioned you for a comeback. You'll understand that your past was never meant to defeat you, but to develop you. This is what it means to walk with God, to see your life as a process of growth. You are constantly evolving, constantly becoming, constantly expanding. You are not meant to stay stagnant. You are meant to rise, and as you rise, others will rise with you. When God's hand is on your life, you don't rise for your own glory. You rise to lift others. Your success is not just for you. It's for those who are watching you, those who are waiting to see what God will do through you. Your victory is not just about your own progress. It's about the testimony you create for those who are still struggling. When you realize that your journey is connected to the journeys of others, you start living with intention. You start understanding that your actions have ripple effects, that your decisions impact more than just your life. Your life is a gift, and that gift isn't meant to be hoarded. It's meant to be shared. Whether through your words, your actions, your kindness, or your wisdom, you are called to impact others. God has placed you in the world for a purpose that extends beyond your personal desires. He has equipped you to bring light into dark places. He has equipped you to bring hope to hopeless situations. He has called you to bring peace where there is chaos. And when you step into that calling, you begin to see your strength in a new way. It's not just physical strength, although that's part of it. It's mental and emotional strength. It's spiritual fortitude. It's the ability to stand firm in your faith, no matter what storms come your way. It's the ability to smile in the face of adversity. It's the ability to keep moving forward even when the road ahead seems uncertain. When God's hand is on your life, you develop a resilience that no one can take from you. You become unshakable, not because you don't face challenges, but because you know who holds you up in the storm. You begin to understand that victory is not always immediate. It's not always obvious. Sometimes victory comes in the form of surviving the battle. Sometimes victory comes in the form of learning something in the midst of the struggle that will serve you in the long run. The woman who walks with God understands that not every season is about getting to the next level. Some seasons are about being faithful where you are, trusting God's timing, and trusting that His plan is bigger than your current circumstances. You don't need to see the full picture to trust that He's working behind the scenes. And in those moments when it feels like you're walking through fire, know that it's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to purify you. God is refining you. He's removing the impurities, the insecurities, the doubts, and the fears that have kept you from walking in your full potential. He's preparing you to be everything He created you to be. But refinement takes time. It takes patience. It takes a willingness to submit to the process, even when it's uncomfortable. And if you can embrace that process, you will come out stronger than you ever imagined. And through it all, there's something that becomes crystal clear. God's hand is always with you. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter how much the world shakes. It doesn't matter how many storms you have to face. His hand is on your life, and that's all you need to know. You don't need to understand every detail. You don't need to know exactly how it's all going to unfold. What you need is trust. Trust in the one who is leading you. Trust in the one who knows the plans He has for you. Plans to prosper you, to give you hope, and to give you a future. And as you move forward in your journey, you will see that nothing will be wasted. Nothing in your life will be wasted. Even the mistakes, the failures, the wrong turns, they'll all be part of the bigger picture. You will look back one day and see how everything, every single moment, led you to the place where you are today. It won't always make sense in the moment, but when you look at the path behind you, you'll see how every step, even the missteps, were necessary for your growth. One of the most powerful realizations that comes with walking with God is the understanding of His perfect timing. He knows when you're ready for the next step. He knows when you're ready for the next level, and when you're in alignment with His timing, everything falls into place. You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. You just have to be faithful in the process. Trust that God is positioning you. Trust that He is leading you. Trust that His hand is on your life, and everything you need will come at the right time. And as you trust, you begin to realize that your purpose is bigger than any obstacle you will ever face. No matter what challenges come your way, your purpose will always outweigh them. You were created for something greater than the battles you face. You were created to shine. You were created to stand tall, to speak your truth, to walk with power. No setback is strong enough to keep you down. No weapon formed against you will prosper, because when God's hand is on your life, nothing and no one can stop you. As you continue to grow in your faith and trust in God's plan, you will find peace in the uncertainty. You will find joy in the waiting. You will find strength in the struggle, because you will know that everything is working together for your good. You will know that the God who has been faithful to you in the past will continue to be faithful to you in the future. And when you come through the fire, you will come out as pure gold, stronger, wiser, and more refined than ever before. And when you step into your destiny, when you step into the fullness of who God created you to be, you will look back and understand that the journey was worth it. The sacrifices were worth it. The pain was worth it. The waiting was worth it, because the life you're living now, the life God has prepared for you, is more than you could have ever imagined. It's more than you could have ever dreamed, and it's only the beginning. When God's hand is on your life, you are unstoppable. You are unstoppable because you have His favor, His grace, His strength, and His love. You are unstoppable because He is with you every step of the way. And when you walk in His will, you will walk in victory, not just in the future, but right now, in every moment, in every circumstance. So keep going, keep trusting, keep moving forward, because you are a woman of purpose. You are a woman of power. You are a woman covered by the hand of God, and with His hand on your life, there is no limit to what you can accomplish. Keep believing, keep fighting, keep shining. The best is yet to come. In conclusion, when God's hand is on your life, you are never alone in your journey. His guidance, protection, and wisdom shape every step you take. The struggles, the waiting, and the pain are all part of the divine process, preparing you for the purpose He has set before you. With His hand on your life, you are being transformed, refined, and strengthened. Your life becomes a testament to His grace, a beacon of hope to those around you. As you move forward, remember that the road you walk is not one you have to walk alone. Trust in His timing, trust in His plan, and keep your faith steadfast. You are destined for greatness, and no matter the challenges, you will rise above them. The journey may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. With God's hand on your life, there is no limit to the heights you can reach, the lives you can touch, or the impact you can make. Keep walking, keep believing, and keep trusting, because with God, all things are possible.